Good morning, everybody. Give me a second. Way behind. Way behind here, guys. I'll give you the fancy opening, and then we're going to get into it. And then we'll go from there. Give me 1 second. I'm super behind. I apologize. Like, there's so much going on this morning, so we're going to jump right into it. But there's your fancy opening. I'll put on the music. I promise to remember to turn it off. Do this. Yeah, Good morning. Oh, God, it's dark. Hold on. All right. Let's get to it. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm long and bleeding through every orifice this morning, so let's get to it. I'm just looking at this. It's like, oh my God, make it stop. Yeah, I didn't know we were going to come in one of these days, right? So let's get to it. I'm going to take questions more than go through the market because I think that I've covered it all. I think you guys should be good. You have everything. Let me make sure this guy's got everything you need except text. Yes. I made my question mark a hotkey for ChatGPT, and now I don't know how to fix it. So every time I put a question mark on the end of something, when I send it to someone, ChatGPT pops up. So Boomer's got to fix that on his computer today. List of things I have to do. Let's make sure the mic didn't jump. The other thing went down. So we're trying today, guys. We're trying. We are trying today. All right, so this camera looks good. We look good. All right, let's do it. Why is PLTR down? Because it's trading at 4,000 times earnings. I do think that at the end of the day, when I look at this, that it's very, very telling to the market as a whole. You're really very expensive here. You're very, very expensive. And that's why it's down. Do I think you should be chasing things here? No, man, I think that you should be looking at things and saying, what do I want to own? What do I not want to own? The way that I always look at markets today is, where could this go? And so I'm going to go through this name, and then I'll go through a couple other names that I think you guys are going to want, and I can go through the indexes if you want. But I really want to answer your questions today, because today's going to be a rough day for people. It's going to be hard to get through today and not think that like you're not going to have a drawdown. These are the kinds of days, guys, where what you're doing is damage control. You're a fireman. You're trying to put out the fire first, and then you're looking at where you're going to profit from. Like, that's just what you do today. You're really at that 170 level still is where the major put wall is. Can you get there? It depends. It depends how ugly this really gets. Do I think you're going to get there? Probably not, but I do want to go through this. I am short this. If I am to move this along, I don't really see anything till 180 that you have any reason to think that this stops. Candidly, like from a option standpoint, I don't see anything there. I would tell you that I would really focus on that. And that could definitely happen today. It definitely could. I have puts. I had stock last night. I sold the stock last night, and I just left the puts on. So I have the 195s and I have the 180s. So my goal today is always super, super simple with this stuff. It's to put leave my trades on that I have, like this kind of stuff, figure out how I'm going to protect it, if I'm going to protect it, and then kind of go from there. I'm not really a rush in. I tried a couple longs this morning and they already got rejected. And that usually tells me that like off the open, it's going to be pretty rough. So, look for the setups. And if you're really quick, you can do the first 1 minute orb trades, but I'd be super careful this morning. HIMS, I just want to go through the names from last night. So that was your put wall, and you hit that like a ton of bricks. And so usually when you hit those kinds of levels and it does that, it's definitely something that you want to pay attention to. The whole thing about this, for me, with looking at HIMS, I like when it bounces off that. I just don't know that I believe the whole, oh yeah, we're in talks with NVO. I mean, that ended really badly. And like 3 months later, NVO's like, no, please, sell our product. I'm not so much sure how much I believe in that. NVTS, this was pretty much a bloodbath. Revenue didn't really increase. Earnings didn't really increase. The guidance really wasn't that great. So you have that 1150 level, and it doesn't look like you're going to get through it. BWXT, this was really fairly good. And this is a multi-billion-dollar company that's earning $1 a quarter. So if you think about it from that perspective, you're going to earn $4. All right, but does that mean 50 times earnings? Probably not. So I really think there's something to that. What I tend to do with these names when you go through these cycles is just look and go, all right, well, you're trading at about, $1. So if you give it $4 and you're at 200, then you're trading at 50 times trailing earnings. It's not sustainable. You need to grow into it, right? Especially on pullbacks. So I think that that's really what you need to focus on. And there's something else I'll show you as well that I think's out there. And if you look at SRPT, this is just a dumpster fire. I mean, the drug works, the drug doesn't work. You guys do you. I don't know what to say about that. Uber coming in hard. I haven't listened to this conference call. I've been too busy trying to get through all the news. To me, this looks pretty darn solid. So I don't know. I'm really curious how this thing trades today. If we go and take a look at our levels, my level was 89.43, and I'll pull up what we look like under there, what we really look like under the hood, and see if there's something there in the option market that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you're way off still. Like your put wall is like 80. So I don't know. I don't know that you're going to get there. 94 seems to be a real stickler, but that might be something. That's what I had before. Maybe I should drop it down to that wick there, and then kind of go from there and see how that plays out. But that's really the area of interest and how I see it. And then let's just keep going here. Man, oh man, this is going to get ugly. So we'll have to see how this goes for sure. Because I think everything comes in pretty hard today. So then it's going to be a function of, what's going to be liquid, what's not going to be liquid, what do you go into? You're going to have some of those questions you're going to have to ask yourself today. So I have some names, but I don't know that I'm going to buy the earnings names. I would be afraid of the earnings names. To me, shop, you haven't gone anywhere. I have that 153 marked. Spotify. This is classic Spotify. Great quarter, crushes. They're going to do fantastic. Stock's probably down 50 by the end of the day, and no one understands why. I have learned a long time ago in owning Spotify that when I do it, and I do buy it, I just forget that I own it. Like there's no real way for me to try to trade this thing. I find it incredibly difficult to trade. I just do. And they have a big issue with conversion because of where they're based when the dollar goes higher. So there's a huge issue there. I don't know what people expected. It's going to take years for this stuff to play out. The one I'm definitely watching is Ferrari for sure. So give me 1 second here. Sorry, I got to put that on mute. I had to leave the music on today or the volume up so I could hear it. 380 on Ferrari has been that level. And we really want to watch that level here and just see how it's going. And I don't know. I don't know if you're going to hold it or not. Usually after this blows up is where you want to get involved. I was hoping he was going to say more dumb things about EVs, and really knock it down so I could buy more. But I don't know. Maybe they're like, maybe they waved them off. Like, bro, stop saying that you're going to have electric, exotic cars. Because those things are like, if you look at the aftermarket, they're plummeting in pricing. So no one's buying them. If they went up, people would buy them. Do I care about VITL being up? Kind of. I kind of do. I think this is super interesting. And I'll tell you why I care about it, because I'm watching names like SFM getting smoked. And I'm wondering if that's it here. I'm really wondering if it's time to start looking at this. I'm wondering that, did we puke it all out? And I'm starting to see it here where they were talking about VITL, it's the same chart, right? So if I look at that and go here and go look at SFM and, it's really very similar, right? And when we look at that, isn't it? So, maybe this sold a little earlier than this. And so did we bottom in that space? And then what about Cal, right? Cal Maine, that's it, right? There it is. And then when we're looking at that, here's Cal now, and then, that's very similar as well, isn't it? So I don't know, man. There might be something to that trade today. These are the egg companies, obviously. Cal Maine, and then VITL, and this is more the farm for the eggs. But I don't know. I'm thinking that that's completely, utterly washed out now, and I'm wondering if I should start looking at that space. I don't know if it's I don't know if I have to go look at the Kroger and those names, but Kroger moves like a turtle. But there is something to that whole thing that's pretty appealing. And that's kind of where my head is with that. If I look at something like a VITL, I'm wondering if that's the way to lean here, to start looking at more maybe lower beta stuff, or even some of the REITs are kind of interesting here. And this shouldn't be a surprise. We all know why these things are getting smoked, and they're going to continue to get smoked, I think. They'll get smoked at least till the government opens up, and then we'll kind of go from there. But I still think there's going to be problems there with the spending as well. So it is what it is. Yeah, and I don't know that that's going to continue to push. It can't be 855 already. Is it really 855? Holy God, days flying. Jesus. All right, let's take questions. But at least I covered the big ones. Let's go. Let's get through it all. I'm going to just do lightning speed to get through it all. And I apologize for being late today. There was literally nothing. Like, I had so much news to go through. What else can I add for you guys, like, super quick? JP Morgan saying the sky is falling, essentially. I'll tell you that. Really surprised by the way that they're acting. What else is there? That was super important that I read. I am concerned about this. I'll show you this. But wait, there's more. I am concerned about this. I'll go over it tonight. You have the tariff talks. I think that's all this is tariff talk. But if you look at something like the high yield, they want out of high yield. They want out of LQD, but they're not buying protection. And I think that's super important. It's all got to do with tariffs. So let's get through this. John, I'm going to be really quick today. Just WDC, I own. I actually think that you really want to consider the names that you wanted to buy, and now you're getting the opportunity to. For me, the problem is that I added yesterday on that breakout, so now I got to figure out what I'm doing with it. My initial response is going to be to probably hedge half of it out. And probably sell calls against it and kind of go from there. That's really where I'm probably going to hedge a lot of that stuff today. And then just kind of try to lock it in and see if I can stay in that 150, 160 range for the rest of the week. Because I don't know. I don't know how fast or how hard we're going to bounce here. And I got a lot of that on. I don't know that you need to be first here, man. I'm just going to say that, like, I already put my toe in the water a couple times, and that's the area where you really want to buy SanDisk. And yeah, I was like alone, all by myself there this morning. Like, I'm like, oh, thank God, it's finally at support, right? I can't wait to buy SanDisk. Then I bought it. It was like, wham! I was like, oh, okay. And the other thing that I would note about your levels today, if I could just like get this out there, if I could give you like this tip. If you hit a level and you bounce hot off that level, like it's hot, like bam, oh, that's hot, ouch, that's hot, ouch, that's hot. That's very different than, I'm okay here. Very different reaction this morning. I saw that with Tesla too. I should get that out. You're hitting this level, right? And it's like, ouch, hot, oh, I got to get off that this morning, right? Boom. Resistance. Now it's flipping. You need to be careful. You got to be super careful here. This could just rip right up because there's a bunch of people selling puts, but on the whole market, there's a bunch of put sellers out there. So it could rip right up, but I'd be more apprehensive. And if it does rip right up, I'd be a net seller into it and then recoup and watch how stocks act at those closes. I'm going to have to go sooner than later, guys. So I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can. Sorry, John. INCY. I actually want to see that. Yeah. I'd want to know why. And I'd be afraid that they're going to try and take some things there. I do think when you look at uranium, I do think that you want to be super, super careful. Like super careful. I don't know that you want to rush right into them. See, like we had this uranium trade on and we got stopped out yesterday of it. And I kept moving the stop up, and people kept saying, why are you getting the stop so tight? Why is the stop so tight? And I'm giving my best, bird face right now. That's why, because this has been out there. So this is usually what happens when you're forming some kind of bottom. You're going to gap up, gap down, twist all around. So I don't know that you need to be first into these names. Some of these shorts that I have on, that I left on, like RGTX and some of this other stuff, this stuff can get super, super ugly. And, I have a bunch of this stuff that I'm short like this. So I'm short this SMCI. I might actually close this short. I'm looking at my book right now. just because everyone and their sister shorted. It's freaking exhausting. Everybody short that name. But I don't know, man. I don't know you want to be buying stuff that's like high in the sky right now, because you might get the capital preservation people kicking in, and the uranium trade. Do you have to be first right now, dude? You know what I mean? You just closed 17-year highs and you're rejecting it. Do you have to be first? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think you need to be like, I got out of a bunch of swings October 7th, and I've been waiting for this. And if I go here and clean this off, I'll clean all this off for a sec and to show you what you're really getting today. So watch, this is what you're getting today. And this is the most important thing that I can do, and just show you it. So if you can't close above, you're going to get this island reversal at the top of a chart. And we need to watch how we close today, because if you gap down into this, that is definitely something. Like if you gap like this, and like that's the suck salad that we wind up with. And the drawing is the drawing. Deal with it. I'll try to do this real quick so it looks better. Yay. But if you get something like that and you have an island reversal up here, you have an issue. What the other thing that's scaring tech people is that these guys keep issuing bonds. Google issuing bonds was the worst thing they could have done this morning. That's why it's down $8. They're probably going to sell Google on this, which really annoys me, because I added to I have like a really long-term position in Google, and it's super freaking annoying because they're going to sell it on that. So I'm going to try to get through this fast. BA, I wouldn't touch. Japan looks good. Circle looks like a suck salad. I wouldn't be going near anything like that right now. I really wouldn't. I would be on the other side of this stuff, honestly. Let me see if I can add any real quick value on this. You're probably not going to break 100 is where I would think that you're probably not going to break. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to get there. But you know, you can get there, dude. No, you're going to get them today. They'll go out. The invites go out today for the people that got it. Well, we're down, bro. We're down. Like, we're getting smoked. The com's super interesting. The earnings call was great, man, but you're trading, you're trading at 200 times earnings. Like, I don't know that you stay down if that's where you're going with that question. I'm going to try and get through this fast. Well, I mean, you have to ask yourself that, right? You have to ask yourself this, and you have to be brutally honest with yourself about this stuff, Lynn. Like 20 or 200, what's it matter? There's no revenue. What are you paying for revenue? You're paying for a dream. So 20 or 200, like here's $20. Here's 200. What changed? Like nothing, like absolutely nothing. There's no revenue here. So what's it worth? What the market's going to pay for it. It's like when that guy bought that NFT for $69 million and told us we all didn't know what we were talking about, right? And now he's got like a paperweight. So you have to look at this stuff. It is what it is. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the valuation of something without revenues is. I'll trade anything. If it moves and I can chart it, I'll trade it. But that doesn't mean that I agree with the valuations, right? So it's all about when. And I don't think you're there, man. That's not Lynn. I don't know why I thought that was you, Lynn. Happy voting day in Jersey. RGTZ. Yeah, I play this. I would not buy it up. I tend to just short this. I'm short this, but this is not for the faint of heart. Like it's not. I can be short. I can be a genius here, And like a week later, everyone's like, oh my God, I knew I shouldn't have done that short. And then it's down 100 points the next day. So like, it's not for the faint of heart. But yeah, these things are all going to blow up. I mean, this thing will be a single digit stock again. It's just a matter of time. Like people don't look, guys, this thing's doing 1.8 million a quarter. People pay more margin interest. So like it's nothing for this thing to go back to $16, like nothing. So yeah, I mean, those things can get smoked. I'm going to go through this quick. PLTZ, super interesting too. This kind of stuff makes a lot of sense. Yep, please hit the like button. I don't know that we're going to crash. I think you're going to pull back. We've been talking about it forever. We're sleepy. It wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty bad today. Sorry, guys. I don't usually have a problem, Tara, with like it because I got an extra hour. It throws me off. But I'm just going through this super quick, see what I got. Yeah, the whole like flying cars thing when we can't even get the Cybertruck to sell at scale. So I think people, what I think it is, Jeremy, is I actually think people are worried about the tariffs and SCOTUS. I love my pronunciation skills starting tomorrow. I actually think that's what it is. That's my belief on it. I'm going to cover it tonight. I do, but your valuations. The evaluation stuffs. I got to go, guys. Trade to win today. Make good choices. But there's a time to just sit and chill and just let it set. Like, I think that you're there. Short-term trading is probably going to be optimal, but when these things get back to their closes, I think people are going to want to get out. So I'm going to use those as targets. See you guys.